on Sunday. Just 6 miles east of this racetrack here, Lucas Oil Indianapolis Raceway Park, will be the greatest spectacle in racing, the Indianapolis 500, where many of the best drivers in the world will tackle 500 miles around IMS. Many of those drivers came through this program, the USF Pro Championships, and they raced here as well at IRP. Tonight we have the Freedom 75 and the Freedom 90, USF 2000 and USF Pro 2000. One of the best stories on the weekend here has been the qualifying effort by the driver beside me right now, 61 years of age, Charles Finelli. Charles, you've done a lot of testing here. Dude, you shocked everybody. Put down 2 great laps.
Yes, a little surprising for me, but I think that's all due to a gentleman by the name of Tom Knapp. Tom Knapp is the engineer, and if he can make Grandpa qualify 7th, I think he's the man to talk to. But, you know, it was fun. It was interesting. I have a lot more time, or a lot less time per lap, ready to come for the race.
As I said, a fantastic story. You've been racing a long time. I followed you through F2000. Of course, you're running in USF Pro 2000 now. And we all know a lot of a race here at an oval is about car, but you still got to hustle it around. You put 2 super quick laps in. You were on the throttle early. You sat P3 for a lot of that session. What were you thinking? I was watching you down on pit lane.
I was thinking there's going to be a lot of suicidal young boys screaming at themselves how Grandpa outqualified them. And it was interesting just seeing myself sit there most of the qualifying. I actually had 2, and then not until the real fast kids came on, you know, and there was only about 5 of those. I was just like, everyone was just giggling on, like, this can't be happening.
Well, it did happen. P7, you put those laps down. You're going to start on the inside of row 4. Yeah. Obviously, a different starting position for you. You're in the middle of the fight. What are your thoughts? Do you have any strategies for the opening couple of laps?
Well, I know I have a bullseye for at least 8 young men who want to take me out. Actually, it's about, what was it, 18 of us? So that's 10.
11 guys behind you.
11 guys behind me. And my strategy probably will be try to get up to the high line as fast as possible. Stay with it seems like the first top 3 are about 4/10 a lap faster than me as it stands now. The other 2 ahead of me, 3 ahead of me, we're within 1/10 of each other. So I'm going to try to get around them if I'm faster, and then try to hang with the back of the top 3, let them kill each other out there. And I hope adult strength lasts longer than kid strength.
I'll tell you this right now, folks. We've watched Charles do this for a number of years. This guy has gotten in shape. He's got better abs than anybody in this paddock. I guarantee you. All the other drivers on the grid, he's got himself in race shape. The car is fast. We got 90 laps of racing in the Freedom 90. This guy could be gunning for a podium finish when it's all said and done here on a Carb Night Classic Friday night at IRP. The pole sitter in USF 2000 for the Freedom 75 is none other than this driver right here, Ayrton Hauk from Benchmark Autosport out of McCordsville, Indiana. The Indiana kid got it done in qualifying. How good was that to come through qualifying and put down 2 great laps? Not the fastest outright lap, but now a 2-lap average track record as well.
It was amazing, and I knew coming into my second lap, my first one wasn't quick enough. I had tabs on the guys. My guys were telling me how quick I needed to go, so I knew I had to put the foot down there on the second lap, and we got the faster 2-lap average, so, I mean, it feels amazing to bring these guys our first career pole position.
So that's check mark number 1, right? That's the first win of the weekend, right? You got to get that pole position. We know if you start up front, very likely you're going to finish up front somewhere, at least on the podium. Now you're starting on the pole. You go back to last year, what happened? You were running second. You just lost it a bit in turn 2. How much did you learn from last year going over the video that you're going to be able to use here this evening?
We learned a ton. You know, last year we were really focusing on getting our quality setup dialed, and we did that. We were starting on the front row last year as well. This year, we kind of looked at it backwards, and we wanted to get our race setup dialed. So we've got a really good race car now. It's just about putting it all together. We know we've got the fastest race car. We know we've got the fastest driver. We just got to make it through the 75 laps.
I think one of the interesting things tonight for Ayrton is going to be, obviously, we tested during the day. You're going to have a practice later today during the day. We're racing at 8:30 tonight. The sun's going to be down. You're going back to the old Kenyon Midget days when you used to run under the lights at Anderson Speedway. Do you go back to those oval days, those running your dad's Kenyon Midget?
Yeah, it always brings me back. And the fun thing is the guys I used to race against in the Kenyon Midgets are going to be out here. You know, Jackson Masenko's running a midget tonight. Dameron Taylor, Brad Hayes, the guy I ran for, is out here. So it'll be fun to have all my Kenyon Midget friends out here watching me run under the lights like we used to always do.
First season for Benchmark Autosport, your dad's team. You still have your engineer from last year, Don Connor, with you as well from DC Autosport, but it's your team this year. You guys are doing it. You've had a good start to the season. You're top 10 in points right now. How crucial is it for you to come out of here with 45 points?
Well, thank you. And it's very crucial. You know, this is the points and a half race. I didn't keep that in my head last year when I was pushing a little too hard and into the wall. A win here would be magnificent, but maybe a top 3, a top 5 would just be that much better to get us back up into the points. You know, it's all about finishing tonight. Obviously, we really want to win and we really want a podium, but finishing is better than not. So just going to keep that in the back of our head while we're pushing, not to get the tires too hot, really stay focused and bring the car home.
Again, folks, it's kind of cool in the midway point of the season. The only oval race of the year, points and a half, 45 points for the win. Ayrton Haug looking to get that victory, but he's thinking long-term as well, not just about tonight, but this Indiana guy would love to come home with a Freedom 75 victory. This year's USF Pro 2000 Freedom 90 will be led to the green by the driver beside me right here, Matt Clark from Exclusive Autosport. Matt, good start to the season. Bunch of podium finishes. Pole position for the Freedom 90, though. That brings a smile to your face.
Absolutely. I mean, we look at the numbers historically. Pole sitters traditionally do well here. So tonight we need to be smart. We have a good race car. I know that. I need to go out there, do my job, and bring home our first victory this season.
First year with Exclusive Autosport, you're learning everybody. You're getting that momentum. You got it at IMS. You had a pretty good weekend in Indianapolis. You're here a couple of weeks later at IRP. Is it crucial, you think, you come away with the victory here, or is a top 3 even good enough?
I don't think you ever want to settle for less than a win. You know, no matter where you're starting the grid, whether it's pole position, 3rd, 6th, 8th, you want to win the race, and today, that's my goal.
And listen, you've won here before. That's something not a lot of these guys can say. You've won here, you've led here, you know what it takes to win. What are the first couple of laps going to be like? Are we going to go hardcore Matt Clark on this one?
Absolutely. The first, 5 to 10 laps around here need to be quality laps to try to give you a little bit of that buffer, right? And then probably lap 20, 25, you start working in that traffic, and that's something that I'm familiar with. So I think that does calm the nerves a little bit, knowing that I've done it before and that I had the ability to win here. So we'll see what the race brings, right? You can plan as much as you want out here in the paddock, but until you put that helmet on and get out there rolling for the green flag, you don't really know what's going to happen.
Exclusive Autosport has had a lot of success here, of course, winning numerous times last 3 years. In fact, Braden Eves last year, it's a 90-lapper. It's 9:30 at night. It's a lot different than testing, but it's also 90 laps. Will all these guys be able to handle it fitness-wise? What about you? It's a long run. Are you where it needs to be fitness-wise?
I've been working hard in the gym the last year and a bit, and seriously, Rob, this date is circled on the calendar. This is the race that every driver is training for all year. By far our most physical in the USF Pro Championships. I'm not going to sugarcoat it and say it's going to be easy tonight, because it's not. It's going to be hard for everybody, but I feel like I'm ready.
Lap traffic's one of the things obviously are going to be key. You're going to get around to some of the slower cars here. You got that mindset ready to start working the high line and the low line?
Absolutely. I mean, we have warm-up here in a little bit, and that's going to be huge for us. I'm going to spend most of my time in traffic and warm-up, making sure we have a good race car in traffic, because that's what wins and loses you the races here.
Former USF Juniors champion, former Freedom 75 winner. He's got it done here at IRP before. Could be 2 times for this driver, Matt Clark, here today. When we get back after this quick break, the driver lineup for the Freedom 75.
You can feel confident Continental is the smart choice in tires.
Can they handle extremes?
Yep. Tested from the Texas desert to near the Arctic Circle.
Really?
Really.
Anything for the guy who finds that one pothole?
Yeah, road hazard coverage has your back.
For real?
Absolutely.
Were they made by like a bajillion engineers?
Well, closer to 100. Continental. Welcome to the smart choice in tires.
Well, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Lucas Oil Indianapolis Raceway Park. Back-to-back USF Pro Championship races for you here as we nestle in between the Hoosier 100 for the Silver Crown cars and the All-Star Midgets coming a little bit later on this evening as well. These young drivers here, of course, the future stars of the NTT IndyCar Series. This is where we saw the Pato Awards, the Kyle Kirkwoods, the Renus VKs, over the last number of years, running here at IRP, part of the Freedom 75, part of the Freedom 90, all trying to work their way up again into the IndyCar Pro, and of course ultimately running as Louis Foster will, former winner here this weekend, the Indianapolis 500. My name's Rob Howden, be joined in the booth here by former USF 2000 champion Simon Sykes. We'll bring him in here momentarily. Well, let's have a look at this 18-car grid, or 19-car grid, as they get set to roll off here, and the drivers have worked their way onto the front straightaway. We'll start at the tail of the field right now. I don't know whether or not we're going to see the number 8 of Timmy Carell. He had an issue in final practice. We'll see whether or not he got himself out on track with that Jay Howard driver development pilot out of California scheduled to roll off from 19th. Row number 9 will have the rookie driver out of Mexico. That is Patricio Gonzalez in the number 15 for D-Force Racing, a full-time driver in our USF Juniors program. Made his debut in USF 2000 2 weeks ago at the road course event in Indianapolis. He'll start 18th here in the number 15 alongside Lucas Facuri, the Brazilian for Exclusive Autosport, in the number 91. Engines have already fired. We'll move up to the next row. That's row number 8. Starting on the outside, Rodrigo Gonzalez, Pato's brother, in the number 18, starting in 16th. Christian Cameron out of Sonoma, California for VRD Racing. And the number 19 will start 15th. Row number 7 will have Vian Boshoff out of South Africa for Sarah Fisher Hartman Racing Development. He'll run the number 67 here, starting 14th out of row 7. Inside of that row will be Joshua Leonel in the number 11 for D-Force Racing. Field starting to pull off. They'll get 2 warm-up laps. Let's jump quickly up the field here right now. Row number 6 will be Sebastian Garzone out of Colombia in the number 12 for D-Force Racing, alongside the Australian Brad Majman in the Jay Howard Driver Development number 7. Into the top 10 now on the outside. Another driver from Australia, Eddie Beswick for Synergy Motorsports. New team. First time here on the oval at IRP, the number 30 starting 10th, alongside your current point leader now, Jack Jeffers out of San Antonio, Texas in the Exclusive Autosport number 92. Row number 4 will have Teddy Musella, the Floridian, in the number 25 for VRD Racing. He'll start 8th. Elliot Cox, Indianapolis, Indiana driver, in the number 68 for Sarah Fisher Hartman Racing Development. A one-off here this weekend in the number 68, starting 7th. Row number 3 will have G3 Argyros, the Californian, in the 23 for Pabst Racing, starting 6th. Inside of that road, out of Illinois, that's Evan Cooley, the rookie, in the number 90 for Exclusive Autosport. Row number 2, they had to get this car put back together after an incident in final practice. That is Caleb Gaffera out of North Carolina in the number 24, the Pabst Racing Machine, starting 4th in his first run here at IRP. Driver with a little bit more experience, Thomas Schrag out of Ohio in the number 2 for VRD Racing in the number 3 grid slot. 18 drivers in the field, maybe 19. Front row will have the Canadian Anthony Martella. On the outside of the front row, the Jay Howard Driver Development Machine in the Young Drivers of Canada. Number 9, he'll start second with the driver up front from McCordsville, Indiana. It'll be Ayrton Hauk on the Benchmark Autosport, number 58, the local driver here out of Indiana. Excited to get things underway. There's our answer there for Timmy Carell. He has indeed made the grid, but right now trying to get this thing fired. The AMR IndyCar safety team has got to him to see if they can't get it fired. Tough one for him. As we had said, it's been a rough weekend in terms of luck for Timmy Carell out of Pacific Palisades, California. And they try to get it rolling, and the wing comes off the back as they try to get him going here. So damage to the back of the car. That is unfortunate for Timmy Carell. Just zero luck for Carell here today. Again, Ayrton Hauk, the driver on top there, as we said, a fantastic pole time. The driver of the Wings and Wheels Foundation, Binkley's Machine. Ayrton Hauk was running second last year, had a spin, contact with Max Taylor. This time looking for a big victory here. Single car team, first year for Benchmark Autosport, and he'll roll off in P1. Simon Sykes joining us, as I said. Simon, unbelievably tough right there for Timmy Carell. Bad luck plaguing this young Californian all year.
And it just goes to show how difficult it is when you have an incident in final practice to get these cars back together and race ready. Having an issue pulling off the grid, eventually able to get it fired, but the rear wing not mounted correctly. It comes off of that car. So a tough break for Timmy Carell. He'll pull down into pit lane, and unfortunately I'm thinking that's probably going to be day done for that driver.
Yeah, that team, not a lot of urgency there. There's not much they can do. He was the driver involved in the incident who spun in turn 1. Caleb Gaffera got caught up in that one as well. So, indeed, the issue there. While we're on the laps here, let's have a quick look at the top 5 in points right now. I mentioned that Jack Jeffers was the leader, coming off a couple of podium finishes and a race win at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway road course. Jeffers, your point leader, with 165, just 2 points over Liam McNeely. But you may have noticed I did not talk about Liam in the race. He is not here. Visa issues, not able to get to Indianapolis for both the road course race or the oval race here this weekend. Thomas Schrag, the Ohio driver, back a little bit as well. 13 points behind Jeffers, Teddy Musella, and G3 Argyros, the drivers who, again, are in the top 5. Field set, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to get set to go racing. Pace car is headed to the pit lane. The Freedom 75 here for the USF 2000 program. About set to roll off. Hauk on the inside. Martella on the outside. Indiana versus Canada. Field set. Aaron Likens on the box. Green, green, green. And we'll race them into turn number 1. Hauk immediately at the top part of the racetrack. Schrag's going to go to the bottom. Great start for Ayrton Hauk in the benchmark Arlsport number 58. He goes to the lead. Martella going to run the top line. Cold Continental tires. Remember, that grip on the bottom, not as good. Martella's going to use it, and so does G3 Argyros. He's going to try to roll around the outside there as well of Caleb Gaffera, and away they go. Opening lap of 75 in the books, and Simon Sykes, you've raced here before. If you're out front like this is exactly what Ayrton Hauk was hoping for. Let me get a clean run through the first lap, and then I'll start laying lap times down.
Certainly, he got the start he wanted out front. He definitely is going to get some pressure here from behind in that Jay Howard machine and Anthony Martella, but the start you want is to be out front in the lead, and Hauk has done that. 9 times out of 10, you can count on the drivers that start in the first couple of rows to win this race, and no better place to start than out front of the field. That benchmark Autosport car of Ayrton Hauk firing off well here, running the top lane, but it is a close battle for the top 3, Rob.
I know that Hauk and Martella had a chat before the race, said, hey, listen, let's take it easy here in the opening couple of laps. Let's try to pull away a little bit here. There's a shot there of Jack Jeffers in that white and red Corpay machine for Exclusive Autosport. He's got the number 7 right behind him. That's Brad Mashman. That is the 10th and 11th, I believe, on the order here right now. Right behind them as well is Sebastian Garzone. So that is 10th, 11th, and 12th. Jeffers, your leader. He's going to go to the bottom part of the racetrack. Mashman's going to try the top, and back to the leaders once again. Martella putting some pressure on. Martella fakes the dummy to the bottom of the racetrack, thinks about the bottom. That car looks pretty good. Remember, Jay Howard, that car was a winner last year with Tanner DeFabus, who will be in the Pro 2000 race later on today. Here goes Martella thinking about the bottom of the racetrack. Simon, they're going to go side by side here. What do the cars feel like right now? You've been in this race before. Colder tires. It's going to take a little bit of time. It's a cooler night, 63 degrees here, ambient temperature. What's the car feel like, and when do these tires really start to give you maximum grip?
Well, they'll definitely start to come in. Obviously, you mentioned a cold tire, a low ambient temperature, so you're trying to build this temperature into the tires, build confidence in yourself to run hard into these corners. And we just had the Silver Crown cars out there to put some more rubber, especially on the inside lane, which is going to give drivers more of a passing opportunity. And we're already seeing drivers dip down into the lower lanes where they typically run up high all the way during qualifying. So it's an exercise in being able to use the whole racetrack here when you're actively in this 75-lap race, and we're seeing that out front right now.
Yeah, Martella got challenged a little bit there by Thomas Schrag a couple of laps ago to the inside of turn number 1, but he did not shuffle at all on that one there. Not phased whatsoever. Continues to push forward. Now, in the double screen here shot, there's that fight a little further back between Gaffera and Cooley. That's Caleb Gaffera on top of the Pabst racing car. Evan Cooley on the bottom there in the Exclusive Autosport machine. That's the fight in the right side lower part of the screen. They're battling it out here now for 5th and 6th. Up top, though, Martella continues to look to the bottom. Like I said, Jay Howard's got great cars here. He does have the bottom of the racetrack. Let's see whether or not the top line continues to be good. No, there's the pass done as he gets to the inside. And there's a new leader, the Canadian Anthony Martella, has gone to P1s. As Jay Howard put another car under a rookie driver to go to the potential victory lane here in the Freedom 75. Last year, Tanner DeFabus. Simon, this year, Martella goes P1.
Martella making quick work of Ayrton Hauk there, able to get the rubber down on the low side of the track, and he will remain there, not opting to go back to the high line that we typically see these drivers run. So Martella comfortable in that middle lane. Most of the drivers still staying up high, but your leader out there running lane 2.
Give me your thoughts on that then. You run mid lane like that, tire degradation and conservation, always a topic here at this particular racetrack. If he starts running that middle lane, holds that middle lane, is he not using the tires more than he would be if he was in the top lane?
He definitely will a little bit, but these lower minimum speeds that you run in that bottom lane, shortening the track distance, you're not traveling as far, so it's really dependent on how your car is set up. We have seams in between the lanes, and they're that darker pavement where it is filled in, and that can actually create a bit of oversteer in the car, so the drivers have some tools out there to manage. If the car's a little bit understeer, you can grab the seam, get a little bit more rotation. If you're feeling like the car is already rotating too much, you stay in your lane and try and avoid those seams. So it's all about what you can do inside the cockpit, as we see the Pabst Racing machine of Caleb Gaffera going to work on the outside there of the exclusive Autosport car.
Yeah, it looks to me like Evan Cooley at number 90 trying to wait for that slide job. Here comes Thomas Schrag. He gets a good run on the back straightaway as well. Schrag's going to put Ayrton Hauk back into P3. So Schrag, the Bethel, Ohio driver from VRD Racing, now going up into the second position. The Doug Mockett and Company Airport Electric sponsored Tatis USF 22 has gone to second. Hauk goes back into third. Long way to go in this one here. Still just 17 laps down. We'll take the opportunity to say hello to those of you who are tuning in to the USF Pro Championships YouTube channel. Hope you're enjoying the coverage here of the Freedom 75. Of course, we'll go back-to-back with the Freedom 90 as well. That's still to come. But again, this is Schrag up front. And look at this. I'll tell you, Ayrton Hauk, they're not going in the direction they want to. That's the number 23 Pabst machine of G3 Argyros putting the pressure on as well. It's Martella, Schrag, Hauk, Argyros, and Gaffera the top five. Cooley in sixth, Cox seventh, Masella 8th, Majman 9th, and Beswick in 10th. Jack Jeffers has fallen back into the 12th position. Your point leader back to P12. His primary challenger, P2, could be a shakeup in the championship standings. 1.5 points for this single event here at IRP.
Now, what I've always heard and what remains to be true is that this is the test. After this race, the championship fight is on. So it's all about building points up to this race. You get this big 1.5 points race here for the oval, and then you really know who your contenders are for the rest of the season. So this is really going to set the tone for the rest of the year, as we're already seeing G3 Argyros making pretty quick work. He's on that inside lane trying to get around Ayrton Hauk, and for Ayrton, not the start he wanted, and if he's going to want to remain in podium contention, he's going to have to stop the bleeding soon. It's a long race, but definitely not the start that he was looking for.
Indeed, and they worked a lot on long race pace. Last year when they came in here, they focused a lot on that two-lap qualifying to see if they could get the outright pace to start up front. Statistics we've seen, if you start in the front three, you very likely will finish up on the podium, and that's normally where the winner comes from as well. We're seeing Martello, who started second, out front here. But the benchmark team worked a lot on long-range race pace. They actually tested here last week, and we're focusing on running those 75 laps. We want to make sure this car is good to the end of the run. Right now, struggling a little bit, obviously, here, as now Caleb Gaffera going to work on him. So Hauk may find himself going from P1 to P5 as we get to the 1/3 mark. Gaffera to the bottom of the racetrack. Hauk is on top. And there it is right there. Cooley not that far back. Hauk, though, going to keep trying to run the top side. Taking care of the tires for sure. Let's put it this way. Whether or not he comes forward later, everybody else has been running bottom line. He's on the top side. At least he's taking care of his tires.
Well, and that's something you can't say for the driver to his inside. Caleb Gaffera, I saw catch a big slide coming out of turn 4 that last lap through. He's finally going to get the move done on Hauk, but definitely working those tires early. After that incident in final practice, that car now put back together, and Gaffera running strong as he continues to try and make forward progress, chasing down his Pabst Racing teammate of G3 Argyros just up the road in front of him in P3.
Next battle is Elliott Cox in the Sarah Fisher Hartman Racing Development number 68. He's been able to get by Evan Cooley, who is challenging Gaffera for that 5th spot for the longest time. He's lost a spot. Cox moving his way forward. Here comes the 7 of Brad Majman as well. He'll roll way around the outside. Not sure if there was maybe an issue there for Cooley, who checked up coming through turn number 2, because Majman shot by him like he had turbo, pushed a pass, did not, obviously, and Cooley is falling like a rock right now. Here comes Teddy Masella as well in the VRD Racing machine. Hauk's going backwards. Cooley's going backwards. Here comes Elliott Cox in the number 68. He is now running in the 6th position, trying to work his way by Hauk. That would be for P5. I'll tell you, Ayrton Hauk, top side, not working. That car, whatever it is, whatever they've done, that car is not as good as it was in qualifying.
Certainly not. He's having a handful to work with out there as he goes to the low lane, trying to get some clean air over his front wings. The first time I've seen him dip down into that middle lane this race, and it's about time you just have to try something different. Obviously, that top lane not working, so searching for anything you can do to try and bring that pace back, build some confidence back in your own driving, as he's under pressure again by another Jay Howard machine exiting turn 4 this time.
Yeah, the Australian Brad Majman now to the bottom of the racetrack. Not quite there. He'll lose a bit of that front grip coming right onto the gearbox. You can see a better run out of the corner for Hauk. you'll get that aero wash. The minute you get tucked up inside a gearbox into the corner, you lose all that air flying over the front wing, and the car just wants to push up into the corner towards the wall. That's why you'll see these drivers duck down, even if it's a half a lane, to try to get, even if it's the left side of the front wing into some clean air, to get a little bit of downforce back on the car. Here's Majman all the way down to the bottom. And listen, you've been in races like this before, Simon, where the car maybe wasn't exactly perfect. This has to be so frustrating right now for Ayrton Hauk. He came in here really believing a win was in the cards.
And it was certainly an incredible job to get that pole position and start himself off well into this race, but falling back quickly, he's just going to have to keep working at it. It is a struggle. If you're in the driver's seat and not everything's right, you're just fighting to hang on at that point, and that's what we're seeing Ayrton Hauk doing as Majman able to finally make that pass. That's something it takes a long time here. Unlike a road course, it can take 3-4 laps to complete a single pass because the momentum and the short length of this facility, it's just not enough time to clear the driver in one corner. So you see these drivers working the lanes, building that momentum, and just trying to slip by the driver that they're currently battling. Majman, I want to point out, one of the few drivers that I saw running the middle lane in qualifying, opting not to go for the high line. So he's obviously very comfortable down in that middle lane, and he made it work to get by Ayrton Hauk.
Well, he didn't have great pace. That's one of the things. Majman was one of the fastest drivers during testing, and he ended up qualifying 11th. Didn't have the best run there, but of course we know he's moving forward now. 11th up into 6th, +5 for Brad Majman. Here's Teddy Musella and the number 12 of Sebastian Garzon. Our leader, Martella, 5.5 seconds up on Thomas Schrag, and he's already put his first driver down a lap. Patricio Gonzalez down a lap. Now I believe Lucas Facuri is the next driver on the hit list. Here it is right here on the top left side of the screen. As you've got Martella using the top line, Lucas Facuri in the bottom line. Facuri running in the 17th spot. Martella puts him down a lap, as we know. 34 laps in the books. We're closing in on getting up there to the halfway point of a 75-lapper. Martella, Schrag, Argyros, Gaffera, and Cox. Midway through the race, Simon, how's the car feeling? Are you now to the point where it's really in the operating window where it's going to start tailing off in a couple of laps?
Well, I wouldn't say it starts to tail off in a few laps, but by now you definitely know what's under you, what you're working with. The tires are up to temp. Everything's working, hopefully, as it should be. And as the leaders have started to space out a little bit, we do have some battles developing on the track farther back for P4, P5. Elliott Cox looking really strong in that Sarah Fisher Hartman development racing machine, going up towards the Pabst racing machine of Caleb Gaffera. That's a 3-car battle right now.
And here it is, folks. There is Gaffera in the 24, Cox in the 68, and the 7 of Majman right there. A couple of rookies in this program, and then they're sandwiching a veteran driver in Elliott Cox. Started the year with Turn 3 Motorsport in the USF Pro 2000 category. A couple of rough wrecks in those races down at the Grand Prix of St. Petersburg kind of hurt the budget a little bit, put him on the sidelines, getting a chance to come back with his old team here to help out V and Bossoff. This is the car that you actually ran, I believe, at the road course in Indianapolis, Simon Sykes, 2 weeks ago to try to help out V in there. That's what Elliott's doing here. Get some data and let V have a look when you're matching that data, overlaying that data to see where he can go faster in his first time here.
And for V, a driver that I'm incredibly respectful for, he's coming in as a rookie into the series, first time in cars, and it's so tough if you're on a one-car team and you have nothing to reference. So it was really nice to get that opportunity to run with them 2 weeks ago, and now we have Elliott Cox putting on a strong performance on the oval here. Obviously another very experienced driver, and he'll get by Gaffera, and now Majman looking to the inside of Gaffera as well.
Yeah, Caleb was a driver that got the incident with Timmy Carell there in the final practice session earlier today. Majman now makes his move by. He's go up into the top 5, so +6 for Brad Majman. As I said before, the Jay Howard cars are very quick here right now. They currently run now in 1st and 5th. A 5.6 second lead for Anthony Martella, the young Canadian driver who is looking strong here right now. Came into the weekend sitting in 13th. This would be huge to move him up into the top 10, very likely in the points. Again, I mentioned before, sponsored by Young Drivers of Canada, a new program there. There's Majman going to work on the 68 of Cox as well. Brad Majman, who was strong in testing, did not qualify particularly well. Mid-track run, as Simon had said, 11th in the order after our 2-lap average qualifying session, single car qualifying, and he is on the move forward. It is a great race car for sure. He is now up into P4. Book it. Majman goes by Cox to 4th position. Now the question is, does he have anything for G3 Argyros, who runs 3rd? Final step on the podium right now. 41-42, make it 42 laps down. 33 laps to go. There's the 18 of Rodrigo Gonzalez, rookie driver. full-time USF Juniors pilot here in 2025, his second year in the entry level, the opening level of the USF Pro Championships ladder. A podium at Barber Motorsports Park in juniors for Rodrigo Gonzalez. His first time here on the oval. Fact-finding mission, if you will. He'll be stronger when he comes back in 2026. But this is Martella kind of taking his time right now. He's got a bit of a gap. It was 5.5, but Simon now down to 4.1. There's taking your time, and there's giving up some time to the guy behind you. Thomas Schrag's on the roll. I don't know if you want to wait that long.
You definitely don't want to wait that long, but at the same time, you can't take any risks. You're coming up against drivers that you know you have more pace than when you're going for these lap car moves, and he will finally clear that car, but it's an exercise in patience and just resistance and that urge to go forward. You can't make it too quick. You don't want an incident. You don't want to be the one that crashes the last lap of the 500 trying to get around a lap car.
And listen, we're talking here about the maturation of a young driver, Anthony Martella, as well. This is him showing, hey, listen, I've made my mistakes. I've maybe overcooked it. I've done some low percentage risky moves. That was, like you said, showing some patience, taking your time, finding a way by. Checking in back here on Ayrton Hauk, who runs 7th. Pole sitter, a new track record in terms of a 2-lap average qualifying run, but it didn't pay off here in the race. That pace has not transferred here into the long run here in a main event, the Freedom 75. He's now getting chased here for 7th place by Teddy Musella. Again, kind of, I think, just trying to stop the bleeding right now with Musella going down to the bottom of the racetrack.
Yeah, Musella looking for that move on Hauk, and Hauk has built up quite the crowd behind him. I see 4, 5, 6 cars all in line waiting for their chance to get at that number 58 machine. So Hauk certainly not having the run he was looking for after starting on pole, but he'll continue to fight as he goes side by side, running down into the middle lane, fighting for all he has to stay in front here.
Simon coming through turn number 1 and 2. Musella had a little bit of a tank slapper. Car got away from the bottom. I don't know if it was a seam, if he just kind of lost it a little bit, but it got away from him just a little bit. And Hauk luckily to the top side of the racetrack. That means Sebastian Garzon, the Colombian, is going to close up there as well. Garzon runs in 9th. He'll go down another half a lane to see if he can't get some air over the front of the wing of that D-Force Tatis machine. He's putting a lot of pressure here on Musella. Right behind them, Evan Cooley and Jack Jeffers. Jeffers able to get by Vian Bossoff. He was back to 12th, but Jeffers now up into the 11th position here.
And as we're watching these battles back behind, we have a challenge for the final step on the podium. G3 Argyros under pressure from Majman, who will rip around the top side, Rob.
That's coming out of the turn number 2 down the back straightaway. That's a battle we're watching as well. Here's Martella working his way on back onto the front straightaway, but the fight we were looking at there was Argyros and Majman. This is it right here. Majman has got by. So Brad Majman, the Aussie, works his way up into 3rd. Simon picked that one up as they battled through turn 1 and 2. Majman really rocking that middle lane. Not something we normally see, but right down middle lane, and it is really working for him. My concern would be, are you going to burn the tires off with 25 laps to go? But it's working right now for he and Martella.
I'm not seeing any signs of fall off in these Jay Howard machines. They look to be the most hooked up cars on track, and they're certainly putting them to work. Martella out front by a healthy margin, and that's Majman there finding his way into the podium positions and looking for more.
Let me just throw this out there. Majman, again, started 11th. He's worked his way forward. This is Brad Majman right now. He's going to put Lucas Fakuri down a lap. But he was 0.3 of a second quicker than Thomas Schrag on that last lap. He's only 1.7 back. He's thinking about Jay Howard 1-2 as he makes the under move there to get by Lucas Fakuri. Majman up on the wheel, thinking maybe about second. I guarantee they're on the radio telling him he was 0.3 of a second quicker last time by Simon. 1.4 between second and third.
And that gap is visibly closing. Clear track between the two drivers now for second and third. Majman looking to put that strong pace to work as he will continue on that middle lane and is visibly closing the gap towards Schrag. We'll see what he has as we come towards the closing stages of this race, but Jay Howard looking really strong here.
Yeah, we are closing in on 20 laps remaining. There is the number 9. That is Anthony Martella, the driver again out of Canada, Woodbridge, Ontario, Canada. VPS service, Young Drivers of Canada machine for Jay Howard Driver Development, looking for his first victory here in USF Pro Championship competition. He's dabbled in both USF Juniors and USF 2000. It's a full-time program lined up here. Martella, again, you look at his best finish of the year, 6th at St. Pete and then 7th at NOLA. A victory here would vault him up into the top 10 in points. Simon and I discussed it earlier, again, thinking about the fact that this race is 1.5 points, not 30 points for the race win. It's 45 points for the win. It'll be huge for Martella. It would jump him big time up in the points. He's sitting here at 59. That will put him well over 100 points and very likely could leapfrog him somewhere up into maybe 8th or 9th in the points.
And while we're talking about points and a half here, it's a big weekend in Jeffers. Current points leader down there in P11, Strag in P2. So at the front of the championship, things are looking to take a swing, but Strag is coming under pressure from Majman. Majman is closing that gap towards P2 of the number 2 machine, that Velocity Racing development of Thomas Strag. So a battle soon to develop for the second spot on the podium.
And if you look at the left side of the screen here, as the laps are winding down, you'll see that Jeffers is only about 0.4 of a second behind his teammate Cooley. So Cooley actually getting by Ayrton Hauk as well. So those 2 exclusive Autosport cars are now trying to find their way by Hauk. Coming down the back straightaway right now, Jeffers is to the inside, Hauk's on the outside. That's another scrap. Here's the fight here between that number 11 machine that's further back in the pack. That's Joshua Leonel. He'll get to the inside, Eddie Beswick, as that's Martella coming through. So Martella puts Beswick down a lap. That, I believe, is for 14th or 15th. Joshua Leonel, the Texan for D-Force Racing, currently running in that 14th spot. He's next up for Martella, who is putting it down here right now. Listen, Simon, let's talk about this. When you have a good car at this racetrack, it almost makes it easy.
It's so confidence-inspiring, Rob. There's no better feeling than a strong car at the Oval here, having all the confidence in the world and just knowing you have the pace to go and fight anybody that's on the track. And the J. Howard boys are doing just that. Oh, big moment there for Martella, dodging lap traffic as he continues to work his way through the back of the field. Still a big gap to P2, but he's going to have to be careful as he comes up on more lap traffic, not to let that hinder his chances of a victory here.
That's the driver who's slow there. That's the number 11 who is slow, Joshua Leonel. He's down to the inside of the racetrack. That's on the front straightaway, folks. That's going to bring out a full course yellow. He was not able to get to pit lane, full course yellow, and we have just 14 laps remaining. This isn't contact. This is going to take nothing for them to get him off the racetrack. So a lead for Martella is gone. And in fact, he's pulling away a little bit here. Not sure what happened there for Leonel as he is back underway. You wonder if it was electrical, if it kind of shut down, fired back up. Maybe he recycled the steering wheel. The wheel sometimes, as we know, has some issues. You're trying to recycle that. Well, that huge lead from Martella. Goodbye. This is going to get interesting here with 13 laps to go.
Well, Rob, you've mentioned it earlier in the race. This is really going to be the test of who has tires for the end, who's pushed too hard in the middle, and who has saved just enough to make a run here for a late race restart. The car that was stranded back underway, but nevertheless we are under safety car, which means a full field reset and another green flag restart to take us hopefully all the way to the end of the race.
Watch the pace car to slide up here in front. Martella got a little wild and got past that pace car as he came out onto the front straightaway. But let's press the reset button here right now. We do count our yellow laps, 63 laps in the books. It'll be 64 when they come back around. Very likely if we go green, the next lap will be 10 laps remaining. Anthony Martella, your leader, that massive lead that he was able to pull up has gone away. Of course, he's lapped his way up into the 14th spot. Only 13 drivers remain on the lead lap. Ian Bossoff being the driver in 13th position. Martella is your leader. Schrag second. Majma may be one of the fastest drivers on the racetrack right now. He's going to go to work on Schrag for sure. Argyros runs fourth, Elliot Cox in fifth, Caleb Gaffera in sixth spot, Teddy Musella in seventh, Sebastian Garzone eighth, Evan Cooley in ninth, and Jack Jeffers able to get up to 10th as Cooley and Jeffers, both those drivers, able to get by both Christian Cameron and Ayrton Hauk over the last 10 laps. So, indeed, this is going to be very interesting. Martella has led with no challenge whatsoever. He was running the middle line, as was Majman. That seems like the way these J. Howard driver development cars like to run midway through, not the top groove like we normally see. Thomas Schrag really has been kind of out of the spotlight here, just knocking out laps, running P2. This would be big for him. Now, remember, point leader Jeffers runs in 10th, Schrag in second, running now in the second spot. That would very likely be the flip there. It's a 13-point difference, I believe. Yeah, 13 points between first and second. Simon, 10 to go. What are your thoughts as a driver?
I think Schrag's going to take a fairly measured approach here, knowing his title contender, current rival, is farther back in the field, and all he needs to do is have a good race. We're coming to green, Rob.
That is exactly it. Martella's going to get on the loud pedal, and we're back at it. Green, 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 and again across the line, it'll be 9 to go. already to the top. They have one driver there. That's Eddie Beswick in the number 30. They left him on the racetrack. Schrag to the bottom, so the lap car of Beswick is there. Schrag got to get by him quickly if he wants to challenge with Martella. Look who's going to the top side. Majman's going to go high. He's going to try to leverage just to see if he can't get by Thomas Schrag. They almost have contact coming out of turn number 4. To the top side goes Majman. He'll try to hold it up top there, potentially use the pick. No, not able to get the run out of turn number 2, and they'll work their way down the back straightaway again. Schrag holding on to second.
And Beswick's not making it easy for either of them. He's sitting there, currently second on track. He's a lap down, but he is in this mix of the podium battles, and Schrag using that to his advantage currently to hold back the charging Brad Majman.
Eddie Beswick, the best friend of Anthony Martella right now. We may have had a battle. They had to get by Beswick quickly. He's just running the top line. Schrag's going to try to go to the bottom. Majman still coming as well. Jack Jeffers, a fantastic restart. He goes back into 8th position. So 8 for Jeffers as we continue to fight this one here. Garzone goes back a spot. Cooley right behind him. And again, there is the leader there, the number 9 of Martella, able to get out to a fantastic lead, 1.3 seconds. Just 5 laps to go when he gets back around. The Martella family, no doubt, watching this broadcast back home in Woodbridge. Will he come away with his first USF Pro 2000 win? Will it come here? At one of the toughest racetracks on the circuit, Indianapolis Raceway Park. Canadians have won here before. Matt Clark, Parker Thompson. They've done it here in the Freedom 75. Simon, just 4 laps to go when he gets back to the stripe.
And it's bring it home. Do everything in your power not to lose the car. No mistakes, no risks. You have a lead, a fairly substantial one, even after that restart, thanks to Eddie Beswick. And Schrag, while he's still in P2, not quite close enough for a challenge, so Martella in the catbird seat.
Surprised at all that Majman maybe wasn't as quick. He was closing by a couple tenths, maybe 3/10 of a second a lap, just didn't have it there on the restart.
And what could that have been? Possibly tires.
Yeah.
We saw him making a lot of moves early in the race. That will burn up those Continental tires and use all the available grip, so maybe just not having it for these last few laps.
So Jack Jeffers got back up, I believe, to 6th or 7th. He goes back down into 9th position as well, so there's that scrap a little bit further back there. Jeffers does have open racetrack now. Martella, though, at a turn number 4, still not running that super high line, more of a midline here for Martella. Not what we would see in qualifying. We're going to see 2 laps to go. White flag will fly this time by. Will a Canadian win once again here at IRP? It is the Jay Howard driver development pilot, Anthony Martella, looking for the first victory. White flag waiting here at start finish. One more time around, call it about 21 seconds. Final lap in the Freedom 75 for 2025. Martella at a turn number 2. All he's got to do is navigate the final couple of corners. Schrag, Majman, and Gaffera still right there in 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. But here he comes out of turn 3, out of turn 4. Call him a USF 2000 race winner. The Freedom 75 victor this year is Anthony Martella. Martella wins by 1.8 seconds. Jay Howard driver development back-to-back jacks in the Freedom 75. Martella, Schrag, and Majman will go to the podium. Caleb Gaffera coming home in 4th. G3 Argyros in 5th. 6th is Teddy Masella. 7th, Elliot Cox. 8th, Sebastian Garzone. 9th, Jack Jeffers. And 10th is Evan Cooley. Very likely Thomas Schrag will take over the point lead here. I haven't done the calculations. Math is hard. It's not something I want to focus on. I'll leave that up to Tammy Falkowski, our communications director. You won a lot of races, Simon. Give me your thoughts right now. What do you feel when you've come in here and got that first victory in this program?
Pure ecstasy. Mine in this series came at Sebring Raceway. I wish that I could have gotten a win here at this place. It is so magical, and I can only imagine the feeling that Martella must have as he climbs out of his Jay Howard driver development machine.
You can see he's got his head in his hands. The emotion will be there 100% for Anthony Martella. As Schrag comes in, the 7 of Majman comes in. Remember, Brad Majman started 11th. That is +8. You start outside the top 10, you get to the podium. That's not something we see at this racetrack a lot.
It is not. It's hard to make moves here. I had a very fortunate run in 23 going from 9th to 3rd. I know how difficult it is when you start farther back, but having a good car, having your driving down makes all the difference in the world. Majman doing a phenomenal job to climb his way on the podium. I will say unsung hero of the restart, Caleb Gaffera, making his way back by his teammate,
Indeed.
Elliott Cox, a few others to climb up to that P4 position.
Great job for Gafera, P4, Argyros in 5th, Masella, Cox, Garzone, Jefferson, Cooley. We'll go through the rundown a little later, but let's get down here onto pit lane and see Anthony Martella. You see the red and white Canadian flag on the top of the helmet there. He's struggling to get that thing off. Somebody get in there and help this kid. There we go. He's just trying to get it off. That's not easy to do with the Hans device there. He'll slip that finally off. That head surround coming out as well at the same time. That is tough, but I'll tell you, you're shaking. Your arms are so tired after running 75 laps for sure. We're going to see him come out here momentarily and show the emotion of a driver who wins his first USF 2000 race. Just wait for the call to get out of the car. Yeah, there it is. There it is. Big win there for Anthony Martella, the young Canadian, for J. Howard Driver Development, scoring the win. His mechanic there as well. That is huge for Martella, who has been a top driver in national level karting over the last number of years. Jumped into USF 2000. Does some TCR racing up in Canada as well, some sports car racing. Man, you notched that first victory, though. That is something big.
And he's done a phenomenal job to get all the way here. All that adrenaline rushing through as you climb out of the car, and the feeling of a sense of, relax, of finally being able to relax, saying it's over, and then no more counting down the laps. I've done it, and I've gotten that first victory. Martella with the drive of the night.
Yeah, 100%. Really rocked it. And again, he ran that midline. We didn't think it was going to happen for sure. We figured, hey, listen, you got to run a little higher run than that. Other than that, just a fantastic drive for Anthony Martella. Did not put a wheel wrong, and that's what takes, I think we all know, to win on a racetrack like this. One little mistake, you find yourself up in the wall. We've got, of course, the podium down there on the front straightaway as well. We'll get these drivers out here momentarily. Remember, USF Pro 2000 drivers in their cars already out over in the pit area. We'll bring them out here momentarily. The USF 2000 guys are already heading back with their cars. Those teams will bring their pit boxes and their trailers back there as well, the tires. But here come the drivers now. There's Joe Hidalgo from J. Howard Driver Development as well. Congratulations to their young driver, Anthony Martella. Victories like this really give these young pilots a lot of confidence and momentum. And Simon talked about it earlier, how we kind of turned the corner here at IRP. This is a big race. We know that it's double points and a half, so crucial to the championship. But it also gives drivers momentum for that kind of stretch run, right, all the way through. This is the halfway point. We started at St. Petersburg, went to NOLA. From there, of course, to the road course at Indianapolis, then our fourth weekend here at IRP. Now it's the run through Road America. It's Mid-Ohio. It's Toronto. It's Portland. There's Jay Howard as well. Super happy for that team right now. Jay Howard enjoying it. Martella getting ready to go as well. We'll get these drivers in position. We'll be able to bring them up the top three. Good stuff for sure. Just waiting to get the call from the downstairs. Yeah, we're ready to go, folks. So let's get things underway. Let's get started with the driver coming home in third place today. One of the two J. Howard cars on the podium from Australia, P3, Brad Majman. Started 11th, drove up into third. Incredible drive for him today. Again, 3 countries here on the podium for USF 2000 and the Freedom 75. Finishing in second, very likely your new point leader in USF 2000 out of Ohio for VRD Racing. Number 2 is Thomas Schrag. Well, folks, do me a favor. We're talking first-time winner, so if you can give him a huge round of applause, I would love it. The winner here today for J. Howard Driver Development from Canada, number 9, the victor, Anthony Martella. Huge win for Martella, starting on the outside of the front row, did not put a wheel wrong. Ayrton Hauk fell all the way back into 11th. The car setup just was not there for him to challenge up front, even though he was able to get out early for the first couple of laps. A couple of J. Howard cars up there, and Anthony Martella and Brad Majman. Thomas Schrag, his first victory coming at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, Simon, a couple of weeks ago on the road course. There's a smile of a driver who's the point leader when you're heading to Road America.
And it's not something where you need to win every single race, but that's a driver that should be happy with his performance tonight, knowing that's job done on this weekend. He did just enough, did not need to go and risk anything to win the race, coming home with a solid result and a solid points haul to set himself up nicely for the second half of the season. Will be your new points leader leaving this event. And there is your podium. Martella coming home with the victory. Jay Howard Driver Development, the cars of the night here at Lucas Oil Indiana Raceway Park.
Yeah, the bottom line is huge run for all three of these drivers. Remember, you talk about the fact that Schrag was in the battle for the championship, but both Martella and Majman more than happy to use this big points haul to close themselves back up. All three of these drivers, of course, finishing in front of your current point leader coming in, Jack Jeffers, who ends up finishing in the 9th position. So Jack's still going to be right there, very likely in second, maybe third in points. Here comes the champagne. They'll go to work on it. And indeed, they're going to go after the winner here, and he deserves it. A big one there for Anthony Martella. He gets the victory. He'll finish off the champagne on Majman. And again, our crews working their way out from the back part of the racetrack, USF Pro 2000 set to go. Let's have one more look, folks, as we finish up here at the order, the finishing positions of the 19 drivers in this USF 2000 Freedom 75. Anthony Martella with the win. Thomas Schrag coming home in second. Brad Majman in third. Caleb Gaffera, as Simon mentioned, a fantastic run up into the 4th spot. G3 Argyros, his teammate, finishing in 5th. So Pabst Racing in 4th and 5th. Teddy Masella finishing in the 6th spot. Another top 10 run for Teddy. I think only one race all year long, not inside the top 10. Very consistent for the Floridian. Elliot Cox, the Indianapolis driver, finishing in 7th position in his one-off run here for Sarah Fisher-Hartman Racing Development, helping out his teammate Vian Bossoff, the South African, finishing in 13th. Behind Cox in 7th was Sebastian Garzone in 8th. Jack Jeffers and Evan Cooley, the two exclusive Autosport drivers, finishing in 9th and 10th. Hey, still top 10s. When you talked about this, Simon, when you're trying to win a championship, 100% you want podiums. You want race wins. Every driver will tell you, I'll ask them about the championship. I just want to win races. If I do that, the championship takes care of itself. But a lot of the times you mentioned, championships get built on 9th place finishes, 7th place finishes, right? You stack those up, you avoid a DNF, and at the end of the year, when you get to Portland, you're in the middle of a fight for a championship. It's all about stacking up those consistent results.
It sure is. And if you can just stack podiums, if you make sure you're on the podium every race of the season, you're going to win that championship. And we've seen drivers with incredible amounts of consistency to start off this season. But as we head towards the latter stages, who's going to have the strongest run to close out our season? It's not about your best result. It's about your worst. Who can mitigate those poor performances over the course of a season? And time will tell as we head into the second half of the USF 2000 championship this year.
Let's briefly look. You talked about stacking up podiums, right? This is the 6th straight podium for Thomas Schrag. Pretty impressive, right? His the very first race of the year, 12th. He got into an incident at St. Petersburg. From there, 7th, 3rd, 2nd, 2nd, 1st, 2nd. He is stacking them up here 6 straight in a row. Jack Jeffers right there as well. This is his first, for Jeffers, his first finish outside the top 5. So no wonder these guys are up front here in the championship battle. They are stacking up those great results.
And that's what it takes. It's the consistency over a season. We've talked about it time and time again, but it really is the key to becoming a victor in this series and walking away with that scholarship to move up to USF Pro 2000, which is every driver in this series is their aspiration for the following year.
That's it. We talk a lot about the USF Pro 2000 program and how much success that it has had in terms of sending drivers to the NTT IndyCar Series. You look at essentially the last 7 champions in USF Pro 2000, 5 of them are going to be racing on Sunday in the Indianapolis 500. The other 2 are stars right now in Indy Next. And I'm talking about Renus VK, Kyle Kirkwood, Stingray Robb, Christian Rasmussen, of course, the newest graduate for Rahal Letterman Lanigan, Louis Foster, and then, of course, Miles Rowe and Lockie Hughes, who are now winning races and on the podium in Indy Next. If you win the championship in USF Pro 2000, very likely you're going IndyCar racing.
And that's just a testament to the development program here in the USF Pro Championships, what it means to race in the series and how it prepares you for that next level.
100%. Here come the drivers of the USF Pro 2000 race. These cars, if you compare them to what you saw in USF 2000, I always just say more of everything. More horsepower, more downforce, more grip, bigger tires. I'll tell you this, I'd say more braking, but that's not something we're talking about here at IRP. But any other racetrack, a lot of more braking capability as well. It's the extra horsepower. These things haul the mail. Last year, of course, Braden Eves setting the outright track record here at IRP. That comes in a USF Pro 2000 car. 18 of them rolling down here right now, starting at the tail of the field as I'll go through the grid right now. The number 4 of Tanner DeFabis for Jay Howard Driver Development, the winner of the Freedom 75 last year. This year, a rough one in qualifying. Has trouble going through 1 and 2, lost the rear end, ended up sticking it in the wall. They're able to get a new car back out for him, so Tanner DeFabis will start here, the number 4 for Jay Howard Driver Development, trying to see if he can't go back-to-back in the Freedom 75 and the Freedom 90. The number 4, the driver out of Indianapolis, Indiana, starting in the 18th position. It'll be George Garciarci, the Mexican, on the outside for D-Force Racing in the number 10. He'll start in the 17th spot. Well, row 8 will have Tyke Durst for Turn 3 Motorsports in the 33. And all the way from New Zealand, that is Sebastian Manson for TJ Speed Motorsports in the number 28. Row number 7 will have Joey Brienza in the number 1, Colorado driver who goes to school here at the University of Indiana, the exclusive Autosport driver starting 14th, rookie in the series this year. He'll start alongside Portland, Oregon's Cooper Becklin in the number 2 for Turn 3 Motorsports. Becklin coming off a second-place finish in the back end of the triple header at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Road Course just 2 weeks ago. Row number 6 on the outside, Carson Eder, the rookie out of California for exclusive Autosport. Strong qualifying effort for Eder in the number 92. He'll roll off from the outside of row 6. Inside driver who lives here nearby in Brownsburg, Indiana, a former Arizona resident, of course, native of Phoenix. It is the number 26 of Jace Denmark for TJ Speed. Denmark starting in the 11th spot. Row number 5, starting 10th, it'll be the Kiwi Jacob Douglas for Pabst Racing, coming off his first win in this USF Pro 2000 program. He won at Indianapolis on the road course. His teammate Michael Costello alongside him, all rookies on row number 5. Costello in the 20, Douglas in the 19. Row number 4, starting in the 8th spot, is Nicolas Monteiro, the Brazilian in the 22. Topped one of our test sessions. A lot of speed out of the Turn 3 Motorsport car. Watch for Monteiro to challenge here. But, folks, if you are in the grandstands, we talk about this program. 15-year-old, maybe 15 to 20 years of age in USF 2000. Let's say 16 to 24 maybe in USF Pro 2000. Starting in the 7th position in the Fat Boy Racing number 83. Folks, 61 years of age, Charles Finelli. A fantastic qualifying effort. Finelli in the 83, starting in 7th. Shocked the paddock for sure, but the speed is there. Row number 3, Max Taylor in the number 88 out of Hoboken, New Jersey in the VRD Racing Machine, already running in the Indy Next program as well. He had a strong top 10 at Barber Motorsports Park. Driver who won the USF Juniors Championship last year. Multiple wins in that program. Multiple wins in USF 2000. A rookie here in Pro 2000. Taylor in the 88 starting 6th alongside Brady Golan, who moved up at Indianapolis from 2000 to Pro 2000. Moved over to Turn 3 Motorsports. The Texan starting in the 5th position in the number 3. Row number 2. Two drivers ready to battle it out for the championship, no doubt about that. Max Garcia, your point leader out of Coconut Grove, Florida in the Pabst Racing. Number 18, multiple wins on the season. He'll start in 4th alongside another driver with multiple victories, but multiple DNFs as well. Alessandro DiTullio in the number 44 from Florida for Turn 3 Motorsports. They'll be alongside each other on row number 2. 18 drivers in the field, 2 on the front row, off pole for TJ Speed Motorsports, 2 wins on the road course at Indianapolis. It is Ariel Elkin from Israel in the number 27. He is the off-pole sitter. But the driver right there in the Corpay Cross-Border Solutions exclusive Autosport number 90, the Clubine Motorsports backed entry, that is the Canadian Matt Clark, a winner here a number of years ago in the Freedom 75 for D-Force Racing, looking to keep the streak alive for exclusive Autosport, who's won the last 3 Freedom 90s. With Braden Eves, Salvador de Alba, and the driver who, as I said, will run this Sunday in the Indianapolis 500, Louis Foster. Clark and Elkin on row 1, DiTullio and Garcia row 2, Golan and Taylor on row number 3. Let's have a look at the top 5 in points. I mentioned that Max Garcia leading the way with 202 points. Started off the season with essentially 5 straight top 2 finishes. 4th, 3rd, and 4th at Indianapolis. He has a sizable lead, as you can see, over Alessandro DiTullio, who has 3 wins. But as I said, multiple DNFs as well for DiTullio. Only 2 points back is Ariel Elkin. Horrible St. Petersburg. Didn't finish the first race with a wreck. Couldn't start the second race, but he's been so good since. 2 wins at Indianapolis moves him just 2 points behind DiTullio. But as you can see, quite a ways back. 59 points behind Garcia, who is really in the driver's seat right now. Matt Clark right there as well with 140. A victory here would be big for him for sure. Issues there for the number 10, struggling to get fired up here. But we'll wrap up our top 5 in points with the Kiwi, Jacob Douglas, 123 points. Again, a strong run for him at Indianapolis. That victory there will make sure that he is in the middle of a fight as well. That's George Garcia-Arce, Simon, in the D-Force racing machine, finally able to get it to fire up and will slot himself in to P17 on the grid.
And if we're looking at the points, if you take Max Garcia out of the conversation, it is such a close fight.
True.
For the top steps of this championship at Max, with an incredibly strong start to the season. In the car that I ran last year, he's taken over my chassis, doing a great job with it. So far, better than I did. Looking for him to put in some more solid results. One thing I want to key in on for this race, it is a physical fitness test. These cars, incredibly difficult to drive around this facility. No power steering. And it was a shock to all of us last year when we rolled up, and we were all just so tired after these sessions. I've seen KT tape on a lot of these drivers' arms, trying to get those muscles ready for this 90-lap stretch.
Yeah, I don't think we talk enough about, of course, tonight we have about the physical demands of running on this racetrack. Not only that, but mental demands. On a road course, a big, long straightaway like Indianapolis, 2 long straightaways, of course, at that point, you're kind of focused. And you can rest a little bit. Here, it's, again, 90 laps of 100% focused. Field is set. Pace car has worked its way off. The Freedom 90 about to go green flag racing. Clark on the inside. Elkin on the outside. The two combatants in the championship, Tutulio and Garcia, sit in 3rd and 4th. Field looks good. Here we go. Spooling things up. Green, green, green. Racing into turn number 1. Elkin trying to run the high side alongside Matt Clark. He'll get a good run down. Clark will be on the bottom part of the racetrack. We've seen this in many Freedom 90s before. Elkin going to try to run the top. Right there is Clark on the bottom, side by side. Elkin almost loses it, almost throws it away, but he'll take the lead. A big tank slapper coming out of turn number 4. Clark's going to go right back down to the bottom of the racetrack. Ariel Elkin goes to the lead in the number 27. Remember, 2 wins at Indianapolis, trying to keep that momentum up for the green TJ Speed Machine. And you'll see Matt Clark a little bit low on the racetrack there, trying to keep the air, coming over top of the number 90. Simon Sykes, you took a big step back. That was a tank slapper coming through turn number 4.
Such high commitment from Ariel Elkin, the driver that has fired it up mid-season here in this USF Pro 2000 Championship with those wins at Indianapolis, and now kicking it off strong here to start the race at IRP. Matt Clark getting into the air wash of Elkin, and he'll slide all the way up the track, able to catch that one and recover.
That was a huge correction. We caught it completely coming through turn number 4. He got in there and had to do a big, huge correction on the wheel. Again, as Simon said, a little aero wash there. Wasn't further enough down the track. Lost air off the front of the car. It started to push up forward. He corrected. Luckily was able to hold on to it. Oh, Costello, the same thing. These drivers are pushing hard. A lot cooler than it's been, I think, here in the nighttime run as well. Look at these drivers pushing. That is Douglas to the bottom of the racetrack. The number 3 of Brady Golden pushes on top as well. We got some wild racing early here. And Simon, this is total commitment. We know about this. In this particular category, at this level of racing, these drivers, they're not waiting for these tires to come in. These guys are pushing from the absolute green flag.
And we can see it on screen, but in the seat, they are committed to the next level, which is why it makes it all the more impressive that Ariel Elkin, with a big move around the outside to take the lead on that first lap. And it looks like we have a driver that slowed down the back straight. He'll recover to the back of the field, so no issues there. But, man, what a start from Ariel Elkin.
I feel that might have been George Garcia-Arce who fell to the tail of the field. Issues, of course, coming off the grid. Charles Finelli did not have the opening laps he, I think, had hoped for. He qualified 7th, but quickly goes back into the 17th position. Just didn't have what it took to push early. And again, you're in the middle of a fight with these young guns who are, as we talked about, running on the ragged edge early. I don't know that Charles is the guy we expected to be able to run that ragged edge early. Fantastic 2-lap run to put him 7th on the grid, but maybe asking a little bit more from a non-professional to a certain extent, right? This is an amateur driver who loves being part of this program, but to ask him to go knife's edge over the first couple of laps, that's a big call.
And it's incredible commitment. Nothing left on the table for the drivers here at the start of this race. Cold ambient temperatures, cold tires, and they are pushing for everything these cars have, as we see Costello on the screen trying to hold off Brady Golan in that Turn 3 Motorsports, looking for the high line. Costello in that Pabst Racing machine, still able to maintain the advantage.
Yeah, that's 7th and 8th, the battle right now. Michael Costello from Naples, Florida, in the Pabst Racing number 20, and the Texan in the number 3. Brady Golan, who has got a good run out of turn 2. He'll go to the bottom of the racetrack this time, right down to the bottom. Costello tries to pinch him down. This is that fight, as we said, for 7th and 8th. Golan gets it done. Book it to the inside of turn number 4. Costello going to go back down to the bottom of the racetrack. So good stuff here early on. Costello finally clears him. Let's see if he can get himself up the road. Back to the leaders here. In fact, we got ourselves a pretty good fight here, I think, for the second position here between Matt Clark and Alessandro DiTullio. Clark still has the spot. DiTullio right with him. There it is here as they work their way back up. He's got some room. He was right on top of him, but something happened there, potentially with the lap car at Garce Arce, that checked up DiTullio a little bit.
Yeah, we already see the lap traffic getting in the way of these leaders here. Elkin able to make quick work, and it's spread that gap out from P2 to P3 as we see a move down the inside from the Turn 3 Motorsports machine, the number 2 of Cooper Becklin, making quick work on that inside lane.
Yeah, that's Cooper Becklin battling it out with Carson Eder. Eder goes back to the bottom of the racetrack. That's currently the fight for the 11th spot. Eder to the bottom in the exclusive Autosport number 92. It's, again, Cooper Becklin on the top in the Turn 3 Motorsports machine. The West Coast drivers, of course, Becklin coming in from Portland, Oregon. Villa Park for Carson Eder, rookie driver here in the series. So that's a move that is done for Cooper Becklin. Move him up into the 11th, the Eder, where he qualified, currently running in the 12th spot. Elkin's lead 1.3 seconds right now. There he is as he rockets his way into turn number 1. Car looking very good, very aggressive off the start. And I don't think I'm surprised at all about that. That's kind of part of his driving style. The driver's going to make, if there's a hole, he's going to go for it. He is super aggressive, and he is trying to essentially race for his life right now, like so many of you drivers are in this paddock. You guys have to win if you want to keep racing.
Well, the conversation to start the season has been Max Garcia and Alessandro DiTullio, but the strongest driver at this point in the season, without a doubt, is Ariel Elkin with his performances at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway road course, and now here to start off our oval race at Lucas Oil Indianapolis Raceway Park. Elkin making it look easy out front.
Yeah, interesting for sure. We're watching these guys get at it and trying to figure out kind of who's going to come away with. I actually had it down here somewhere. Let me find the list here of all the guys that have won races. TJ Speed, they're starting to. They're kind of adding up where they've won some of these races before. Like we've seen them win at Road America, but man, put Indianapolis on there. They won at NOLA Motorsports Park. Now they're trying to win here on the oval. It's really been an exclusive Autosport for the last 3 years. Christian Rasmussen winning for Jay Howard, Cody Swanson for Legacy, and a couple of exclusives again in Daniel Frost and Parker Thompson. This could be another big win for Tim Neff's team, although a long way to go still as Elkin able to find his way by the lap car of Charles Finelli.
And on your screen now, the two Paps Racing teammates going at each other. That is Costello and Jacob Douglas. Jacob on the high side, able to make that move work. He'll move himself up one position as the teammates go to work on each other.
So indeed, this is the battle we're seeing a little further back. That is Douglas and Costello. Douglas just turned his fastest lap to go up into the 8th position. Costello now running there in 9th spot. And again, Costello pushing hard, but a great run as well for Jacob Douglas. He is working his way forward right now. Remember, Jacob Douglas started back in the 10th position. He's got himself up a couple of spots into 8th. We're 20 laps into a 90-lap race here, so still a long way to go. And again, remember, we went with a really good long run there in USF 2000. Again, pushing hard here. There's the number 27 of Elkin. Now going to the bottom of Tyke Durst, who runs 14th. Just the one yellow flag in USF 2000, slowing it near the end of the race. Gave us what we thought could have been a great battle, but Anthony Martella able to get away using the lap car of Eddie Beswick. I think is a bit of a pick to a certain extent, a blocker, if you will, to hold off what could have been a challenge for the drivers in the 2nd and 3rd spots. Right now, Ariel Elkin putting down the fast lap of the race so far here at 124.562 miles an hour. 19.83 second is the lap. We're close. The race record for fast lap was a 19.75 for Braden Eves. We're only back by less than a tenth of a second in terms of fastest lap. So Ariel Elkin looking to see if he could potentially come away with the race record fast lap as well. And Simon, let's put it this way. What are we looking here right now? 59 degrees ambient temperature, track a bit cool. Engines love this kind of temperature.
They love it. It's hard to get those tires fired up at the start, but these kind of conditions breed fast lap times. So we're looking at some perfect conditions to go for these kinds of records. And Elkin with clean track out front, looking to make a challenge at that lap set last year by Braden Eves.
There's that fight still right there. A little further back, as we talked about with Jacob Douglas and Michael Costello. They're just kind of banging down laps here right now, looking to see whether or not Douglas has anything for the driver in front of him, and that would be Brady Golan. Yeah, quicker by about a tenth, but he's 0.8 of a second back right now. So indeed, settling in here, this is that battle further back. One of the good battles is a little bit coming into turn number 1 right now. It's a side-by-side run, though that's, again, they're still trying to work their way by Charles Finelli. A driver started 7th, doesn't seem to have the race pace, and that was, in fact, your point leader, Max Garcia, going by him. 4th place right now for Garcia. Simon, I know you spent a lot of time with Pabst Racing. We're able to win a USF 2000 championship with them. You were also a race winner last year in the Pro 2000 category with Pabst. I'm sure you've had a chance to talk to Max Garcia about this. When you have that big of a point lead right now, although 4th place isn't what you want podiums. When you start banging out 4th place finishes, that's what's going to take you to the championship. He's in such a good place right now.
We talked about it with the USF 2000 category, even more emphatic in the USF Pro 2000. We see a lot more consistency in the results with USF 2000. You get up into Pro 2000, you could be P1 one lap, P10 the next.
Yeah.
It's so quick to change, but if you can bang in consistent results like Max Garcia has done, you're going to put yourself in a good spot headed to the later stages of the season.
Look at this gaggle of cars right now. We just saw Ariel Elkin slip by Carson Eder, so he's lapped his way up into 11th. Eder was able to get back by Cooper Becklin. So indeed, Eder currently now running in the 11th spot, but he has already got by him now. What a run here now. Here's a couple of the turn 3 cars going to go at it. The top side is the number 22 of Nicholas Monteiro. The bottom side is Brady Golan. So these 2 turn 3 cars are going to scrap it out. Not quite clear enough to come up the racetrack. The spotters playing such a huge role as they get almost side by side. Good TV time for both these turn 3 cars. Of course, this team winning the championship last year with Lockie Hughes. Monteiro thinking back down to the bottom of the racetrack. Golan goes up top. They've got lots of guys in front of them as well. Another big wiggle there for Golan. Razor's edge, Simon, razor's edge.
We've seen some slides tonight. That is hands down by far the biggest. Golan doing an amazing job to hold on to that machine as he was full opposite lock in the middle of the corner. The last thing you want to happen on an oval, and he's going to go back to work on his teammate. And we'll see what the result of this is. But Brady Golan off to a good start here, putting in some great passes and a lot of exciting action to kick us off here in USF Pro 2000 for the Freedom 90, a part of the Carb Night Classic here at the Lucas Oil Indianapolis Raceway Park.
Oh, I love the fact that Golan went right back to the top side to try to get, even though we had the big tank slapper in it, put a bunch of wheel in it to correct it. He went right back up to the top again to see if he can't find a way by. We're working through some lap cars here as well as they are fighting their way up through the field. Remember, what a great start here. Again, Tanner DeFeva started dead last in 18th. The driver who won last year in USF 2000 is now up into the 11th position. Great run here. I believe he potentially, is he still up a lap? We'll pick him up a little later. But this is a magic fight here right now. The 2 drivers for Turn 3 Motorsports coming through some of the slower drivers as well. Again, Monteiro 6th, Golan in 7th position. That's going to be Joey Brienza right behind them as well. So again, everybody's fighting their way through, coming through behind. I believe, we got Costello, we got Douglas, Denmark. That's your tail end of your top 10. But pick up the leader once again. He's the second car in the frame. That's the 27 of Ariel Elkin, a 4.5-second lead. We're not even to the halfway point here, just 36 laps in. He's going to put his teammate down. That is going to be the 26 of Jace Denmark. So what a run here for Ariel Elkin. This guy ran USF Juniors last year, multi-time winner, elected to jump over USF 2000 right to pro. A horrible opening weekend at St. Petersburg. A heavy impact wreck. They could not get the car fixed for the race on Sunday morning. So he essentially gets no points at St. Petersburg. Has a strong run at NOLA, 2 victories at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Road Course, and potentially en route to a 45-point race win here. A monster right now, having lapped his way up into to the 10th position driver.
I mean, there's not much more you can say. Ariel Elkin, the driver of the night so far. We'll see what the rest of this race has in store for us. But a lot of cars in quite the gaggle here in the midfield. You see Brady Golan there going to work on what appears to be Jace Denmark. But quite the fight as he is dispatched of Nicholas Monteiro and now Michael Costello into the conversation in that Pabst Racing machine.
Yeah, what a fight here for sure. Elkin leads, Clark, DeTulio, Garcia, Taylor top 5, Golan 6th, Monteiro 7th, Costello 8th, Douglas 9th, and Jace Denmark in 10th. I believe Tanner DeFavis down a lap. Eder Becklin, Durst, Manson, Finelli a couple laps down, Brienza as well, and George Garciarce with the issues early, been into pit lane and back out. We saw his issues starting on the grid when he was not able to get rolling. This driver here, though, is putting on a show right now. Fantastic run for Ariel Elkin, the Israeli driver here for TJ Speed Motorsports. You know, Simon, you felt this. I use the word confidence and momentum all the time. You young drivers need to have that confidence. You need to believe that you can get it done. It also gives you that dialogue with your engineer. When you start winning races, they start trusting your input. It just kind of keeps paying off. The momentum is there. You felt it. You've won races. You've won championships. Everything going in the right direction right now for Ariel Elkin.
I mean, yes, a tough start to the season. I've been there. I had that big impact last year at St. Petersburg, but he has rebounded incredibly, putting on quite the drive. And this is where things are going to get interesting as he approaches a big group of lap traffic. And as you go farther up the field, he's going to catch lap traffic that's closer and closer to the pace. So it's going to get more and more difficult to get through these cars. We'll see if Matt Clark can take advantage of this, but Ariel Elkin still sitting out front.
Yeah, he is the leader. Now rolling up here on Garciarce again. He's going to have to go down to the bottom of the racetrack. You'll wonder whether or not he's potentially used the tires. I would say no. Car looks absolutely fantastic. For the most part, he's been able to get clean air. He's fast enough that when he closes up, he's able to get the pass done, so he's not getting stuck behind on a gearbox where he's really using the front tires. There's your second-place driver there right now, Matt Clark in the number 90. You know he was looking for a race win coming in to try to keep that streak rolling for Exclusive Autosport, but he is having a great run here in second spot. He's got, I think 3.5 seconds on Alessandro Di Tullio, so if you're talking points, all they got to do is finish in front of Max Garcia, and you've at least made some kind of gain. This is what we're talking about. He's going to go by Douglas. This is Elkin by Douglas. Almost contact there. Then he's going to roll up at his teammate Sebastian Manson as well. Manson in 15th. Douglas is 9th. Douglas is not going to give up. He's going to stay right there. He'll go back to the bottom. You guaranteed the spotter was telling Sebastian Manson, you got to let Ariel go. Just check up a little. Douglas keeps pushing. That is 9th. He is lapped up to 9th, and we're just past the halfway point.
And Elkin's still on that loud pedal. You saw him catch a bit of a slide out of turn 4 last time through. Not wavering in his confidence at all as he'll continue to approach more and more lap cars farther and farther up the field. This is getting interesting here. He is in the middle of the biggest group on track currently.
Back at it here with Matt Clark again, that Exclusive Autosport machine. He'll go to the low side on Charles Finelli in that number 83, that qualifying effort. Super impressive for the 61-year-old driver, not showing the same race pace here, currently running in the 16th spot. Clark going to go to the bottom there. Again, try to be real careful with this coming through. Yellow flag. We had a driver in the wall in turn number 4. Turn 4, a driver has backed it into the wall. Aaron Likens bringing out the yellow. That'll slow things on lap number 48. Trying to figure out which driver that is in turn number 4. Looks to be Joey Brienza in the number 91, the Exclusive Autosport car. You can see how much he slid down the wall as well. Backed it in. Tough one there for Joey Brienza, who as falls down the order, will end up in the 18th spot as Garciarce continues to run. AMR IndyCar safety team able to get onto the scene here. I don't know whether or not we have a replay of that. Hopefully we can bring that up for you. But indeed, Brienza, hoping number 1, going to get the call from race control. They've already pulled off the surround, and he's getting out of the car. Simon, that's one of the great things. You talked about your incident at St. Petersburg. These Tatis race cars we have with the Halo now are so super safe. You guys are protected inside that race car. It's going to be a jarring hit for sure, but good to see him able to crawl out of that race car.
Yeah, a substantial impact. No hit is a small hit on an oval like this, but these Tatis race cars so incredibly safe. Even the biggest impacts, fairly easy to walk out of. That was quite the hit for Brienza. Hoping he is fully okay as he continues to climb out of the car.
Looks to me like he was kind of catching the breath a little bit. I'll tell you that, folks. You get a hit like this, you're going to get that wind knocked out of you potentially. He obviously out of the car quickly on his own, but taking a couple of seconds there to, I think, take a couple of deep breaths.
And even more insane because when you catch it like that and you back it into the walls, we get a replay here.
Look on top of the screen, folks. Simon, we'll have a look at that, see if we can see it. Here he is potentially coming in here.
And I think he's already in the wall over there on the left side. We'll see if we can get another look at that. But
there he is there, yeah. You can see it behind the screen there. Sorry. He was a little late coming in. That's the best we have for the shot, folks. So not getting a good shot there. Top side, if you got to think just lost the rear of the car on the turn-in.
And anytime you back it into the wall, that's far, far scarier than going nose in because you can't see when you're going to hit. Way easier to knock the breath out of you. Brienza continues to climb out of the car. Appears to be okay, and we'll keep you updated on that, but that's going to put us under a relatively lengthy caution here for our Freedom 90. 51 laps in the books, 49 remain, or 39 remain.
Lap, I got to say that, very happy to see the yellow coming out. Number one, it gives everybody a chance to take a little bit of a rest, take care of those shoulders a bit. Their arms are tired, but they also don't go down a lap. They get a chance to keep battling. And indeed, just the top 8, because I believe, as we saw late in that run, that Ariel Elkin was able to get around Jacob Douglas. So he kind of leads that next group a lap down. That includes Douglas, Denmark, I believe DeFabus, Becklin, Eder, and Durst, all 1 lap down. Manson down 2 laps, as was Finelli. It'll be, I believe, 8 laps down for Garciarci, and it'll be it there right at the halfway point for Joey Brienza, lap number 45. Elkin had a pretty solid lead, but that went away quite quickly there with the incident. He has the fast lap of the race right now as well, but indeed, Elkin's lead that was fantastic is going to shrink down. You then, of course, in the USF 2000 race said, all right, let's talk tires. Who's taking care of their tires over the first half of the race? We're now 37 laps to go. It's going to take a little bit of time to clean this up, although we know how good the AMR IndyCar team is, Simon. There's going to be a shorter amount of time when we go green, but who took care of their tires? Who pushed maybe a little too hard? You talked about the fact that Ariel Elkin was hanging it out still midway through the race.
A lot of confidence from Elkin in the first half of this race. We'll see if he can hold that into the later stages, but much like the USF 2000 race, he's going to have a buffer in between him and the next car in contention of Matt Clark. It appears to be a 2-3 car buffer between Douglas being that last car to get lapped just before the safety car came out. It means that Elkin has a bit of clear space before he gets a challenge from Matt Clark.
So again, the restart will come. They'll be able to punch off essentially as they get into the middle of 3 and 4. If we rewind in our minds to that start, I'll tell you, Matt Clark did the best he could to potentially get a run. He got a good jump, was able to get his way into turn number 1, wasn't able to get up and clear. And the bottom line is Ariel Elkin was right there. They were side by side. He had the top line of the racetrack, eventually able to get by. I know we're not going to be able to go back and get this replay. I'm not even going to ask the guys in the truck for that. But, Simon, let's recall that opening lap, turn 4, fully on the throttle, fully committed, tank slapper coming out of turn number 4 for Ariel Elkin. It could have all ended right there.
Well, I mean, Matt Clark did not give it up easy. He was pushing hard on the first lap, and I can only imagine he must be thinking, man, this guy's crazy. When Elkin made his way around the outside, Elkin just on a knife's edge to get the move done, and that's what it takes to get to the lead here in this incredibly competitive field. Elkin getting it done early in the race, and we'll see what he has on a restart if he continues to push like he did in the first half.
You saw the damage to the number 91 at Joey Brienza, significant damage to the left rear of that machine, essentially all left side damage. Here's the restart here, or here's the start rather. Look at these drivers side by side. Wait for the big wiggle coming out of the corner here. Oh, man. And again, you're committed at that point, Simon. He is on the throttle, fully coming out of the corner. It turns. He's literally looking straight at the wall. That's fast hands right there.
Incredibly fast hands. He's a driver that we've seen a lot of confidence from, able to just go and hang it out all out on the line. And it may look like a small moment on our TV cameras, but inside the car, that is one of the scariest things you can encounter is a big slide, especially on an oval. You're supposed to be turning left. As soon as that steering wheel goes right, something is not right inside the car, but able to get that move done on the opening lap.
Shout out to Mike in the booth for grabbing that one for us. Fantastic job to get us a look of that opening lap battle. And indeed, Clark was on the bottom, and fully committed on the top side was Ariel Elkin in the number 27. He is your leader, 56 laps down. Quick look at the pace car, and it is gone already. Already ducked on into the pit lane. We're going racing this time by. 57 will go down when we get back around here. Again, we're looking at about 33 laps of racing still to go here. First caution on the evening for USF Pro 2000. They're going to stack them all up. You see the machine right there, a couple of cars, a number of cars between Matt Clark. He's going to go to the bottom to try to clear Finelli. You've got Douglas and Manson still in between them. I'm surprised they didn't get moved back a little bit there, but they weren't fully lapped down by the whole field. Clark's going to try the top side. He's going to try to get a really good run here on Manson. This is going to allow, again, a big lead here for Elkin. Again, also with an opportunity potentially for Jacob Douglas to get the lap back if he can go to work and find his way back around here. Down to the bottom of the racetrack as well. There's a lot of cars scrapping it out here. Jace Denmark is there. He's on the bottom of the racetrack. Denmark's right with them. To the top side goes to Tullio, and he's going to take second spot. Denmark pushing hard to battle it out here right now with Clark. Denmark's a lap down. He'll go to the bottom of the racetrack. They're going to potentially go 3 wide. A couple of TJ Speed cars there. Clark trying to clear Jace Denmark, but that allowed Tullio to run the top side. Denmark kept looking to the bottom of the racetrack. These two drivers got together, I believe, at NOLA Motorsports Park. Clark's just trying to get by Manson. Remember, these are a couple of TJ Speed Motorsport cars. They're teammates in the lead, and they were told the drivers' meeting, do not battle it out in terms of trying to hold a driver back. Clark finally trying to clear Manson here. Hasn't been able to get by. He'll go to the bottom of the racetrack again. Top side comes Garcia from P4. Clark doing whatever he can to try to get this thing spooled back up. He's trying to get by Sebastian Manson, who is not giving this up at all. Manson's 2 laps down. He should be giving this up as he's 2 laps down. No chance of him getting back onto the lead lap. Clark still side by side with him, and he'll work to the bottom.
Manson not giving it up easy, still going to work on Matt Clark. Clark not able to get the move done. Tullio, the biggest winner of the restart, able to take advantage of the chaos, move himself up into P2. He is now cleared Jacob Douglas, clear track in front of him to Ariel Elkin, but we're still keying in on Matt Clark as he continues to work towards in both part of the pack since moving on to TJ Speed, but they've both spent a couple of years together under the Pabst Racing tent. Now we're seeing wheel-to-wheel on track. Denmark not wanting to give up that spot, trying to hold on for everything he can. And I can tell you from firsthand experience, Jace Denmark, incredibly difficult to get around on track. He races very, very hard.
And he's had good finishes here. He's been on the podium here at IRP as well, so maybe a little frustrated with the overall pace as he currently runs in that 10th position. And again, Douglas not able to get the job done. Elkin still your leader, still watching this battle here. This is, again, that fight for fourth, at least not for fourth, but the fourth place driver trying to find a way by the lap car of Denmark, who runs 10th. Denmark not wanting to give that up. He just turned his fastest lap in the middle of the fight here as well, Denmark did. Elkin out front now by 1.8 seconds once again. We're closing in on, we got 24 laps remaining in this one here. 24 laps to go. And indeed scrapping it out here. This is, again, all these drivers fighting to try to find clean air to get by some of these slower cars. That is Douglas potentially trying to close up, rather Garcia trying to close up on Matt Clark. Clark last time by a 20.4, Garcia 20.5, so Clark about almost a full second ahead now. This is your leader, though, Ariel Elkin.
Pace of your leader, but a 1.9 second gap in between them has kept the advantage towards Ariel Elkin. Farther back on track, it is still a big fight in the midfield. Clark able to clear some of those cars. Garcia still struggling there, stuck behind Jace Denmark, looking for a way past.
And indeed, drivers are battling a little bit further back in the pack. We've got some good drivers still scrapping it out, which I like to see. DeFabus, Eder, Becklin still working their way to try to get themselves into the top 10. Remember, we talked about the fact that essentially the top 8 drivers on the lead lap, but the 8th and 7th, I think we're probably in the next hit list for the 27 here, Elkin to go down a lap. But after that yellow, 8 drivers remain on the lead lap. Elkin continues to work his way around. He'll eventually get himself up to Charles Finelli here first, then start working his way back through the tail of the field again. But Elkin has been a driver who has been on the absolute razor's edge this entire race. Simon called and saw a couple of times where there was some correction, having to get those fast hands to keep that car out of the wall. Now he's going to work to the inside of the 33 of Tyke Durst, so back through the tail of the field. This TJ Speed machine is absolutely hooked up. We've seen exclusive autosport with race cars like this over the last number of years. Christian Ram, 70% driver, 30% car. Here, 70% car. A good race car here.
And like we talked about earlier, once you have that car, the confidence it instills, it pushes your driving to another level, knowing you can trust that machinery so deeply. And the drivers that can't, having a bad car, it just removes all confidence you have. You just can't even run the speeds that the car is capable of because you can't trust it on the way into the corners.
This is your second place driver taking advantage of the lap cars there that were holding up Matt Clark, Alessandro Tullio in the Turn 3 Motorsport. Number 44, again, coming into this weekend, as we talked about, right in the middle of the points fight, sitting second, but significantly behind the leader, Max Garcia, who now runs in 4 spots. So essentially, Elkin, Tullio, and Clark, as they run, are going to make up a bit of ground on Max Garcia here now, which is crucial to them. The biggest, of course, will be Ariel Elkin. As he runs on the racetrack, he's going to take over second spot from Alessandro De Tullio and is going to make a lot of ground up. I'll tell you that right now. Elkin super impressive here in the number 27. Great stuff here right now.
Do you think you're going to be able to hold on to that qualifying speed heading into the feature, given you have the race set up now?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say. There's so many of these little cars. I don't know if the mic picks it up or not, but these cars change the racetrack, right? Their tires are different, and
sorry about that, folks. Back at it once again here, watching the battle here. This is, again, the number 27, Ariel Elkin, coming through Carson Eder, who's running 12th on the racetrack. Simon, one of the key things here right now is we've got essentially 10 laps to go when we come back around. Ariel's got to kind of pick and choose here. He's only 1.6 seconds ahead of Alessandro De Tullio. He's the driver on the move right now. De Tullio trying to close up on him. He is not that far back across the line. 1.4 seconds, 0.2 of a second left. De Tullio may not be done here.
You mentioned it earlier, in clean air, it may not come to fruition, but this battle could shape up with the assistance of some lap traffic that Ariel Elkin has encountered. De Tullio making quick work of it. Just a car between them now. It is Charles Finelli, the next one on the docket, but Elkin still looking to work that inside as he goes under another VRD machine.
Max Taylor.
Under Max Taylor. They are lapping well through the field now.
Yeah, that's into 8th right now. Max Taylor currently running in the 8th spot, but look at this. We're talking about the fact that Tullio closing up 1.5 seconds last time by. Who uses the lap traffic the best? Open racetrack right now down the back straightaway here for the 27 to Ariel Elkin. Here's a side-by-side run. That is a 44 of De Tullio getting by his teammate. So clearing through there. De Tullio trying to close back up. He got to within 1.4 seconds, but Elkin's got lots of open racetrack right now. De Tullio still trying to work his way now down to the bottom side of Charles Finelli. 7 laps remain here in the Freedom 90. Bottom side of the racetrack, you'll see the number 44, De Tullio, pushing extremely hard. He's being told by a spotter, they're giving him the gaps. You're closing. You're a faster race car, but you've got to leverage everything you can. I think the biggest gap came back because of Elkin having to get by those lap cars. Now it's De Tullio's turn to slide by a number of these race cars, Max Taylor as well, as they come back around. 2.6 seconds. De Tullio 100% trying to leverage the lap cars. But Elkin back out front. Open racetrack of the 27 is a flat-out rocket.
And these moments where you have to put so much trust in that spotter up on the roof, calling these gaps and calling where cars are, if you're clear or not, having that extra bit of assistance, those eyes in the sky, makes it so much easier for these drivers on the track.
I'm telling you, folks, are we going to get 3 wins in the last 4 races for this TJ Speed driver to get himself back in the championship fight? We'll see. 4 laps remain in this year's Freedom 90. Elkin, De Tullio, Clark, Garcia, and a tremendous run for Brady Golan now up into the 5th spot. Golan P5 and only his 2nd weekend in USF Pro 2000. Elkin last time by about 0.3 off of De Tullio. De Tullio, the faster driver on the racetrack on that last lap. In fact, he was the outright fastest driver on lap number 86. But is it even clear to be enough? No, it's still 2 seconds for Elkin. Again, when they come back around, it'll be 2 laps remaining. 2 to go for Elkin to get his 3rd win of the season and 3rd win in 4 races. Across the line to put lap number 88 in the books through 1 and 2. Great run here right now for Ariel Elkin. Can he finish it off? De Tullio quicker again by 0.6 of a second on that last lap. He's up to 1.4 seconds. He could get close here at the end. It feels like the Elkin maybe checking up a little bit. Elkin pushing hard still. De Tullio trying to reel him in as they come across the line. Does he go faster again? Yes, by only 0.2 of a second. White flag flying. Final lap. It's going to be closer than we thought. Down the back straightaway. And indeed, he's going to work his way into turn 3 and 4. Twin checkers coming out. Aaron Likens is going to give it to him. The winner of the Freedom 90 is Ariel Elkin. TJ Speed winning 3 of the last 4 races. 2 wins at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And count 1 here at Lucas Oil Indianapolis Raceway Park. There's the team owner, Tim Neff. Huge victory for Ariel Elkin. 1.2 seconds at the line, but Alessandro De Tullio from Turn 3 Motorsports made it interesting at the end, cutting into that lead. It was 2.4 at one point. He split the difference over the last 5 laps. Matt Clark started on the pole. He ends up third. Max Garcia in 4th position. Brady Goland, what a great run for Brady in 5th. Nicholas Montiero in 6th. Michael Costello in 7th. Ariel Elkin lapped up to the 8th place driver. Simon, that was a fantastic drive. 3 wins in 4 races for Ariel.
Rob, this is the kind of run that's going to put the rest of the field on notice. Having just such confidence and momentum, rolling in here, getting the victory. Elkin taking that eye-watering pass on lap 1 to take the lead over Matt Clark and getting the job done over the course of 90 laps. Ariel Elkin on a roll.
And there he is down into essentially victory lane, coming down in there. We'll, of course, have our podium working its way back around. Top 3 drivers set to go, but a nice close-up shot there of Ariel Elkin from Israel, scoring a big victory. I can't believe it, man. 3 wins in the last 4. Start of the season at St. Pete, folks, like I said, a hard impact into the wall in race 1. They could not get the car fixed for race number 2. When I saw him on Sunday morning, not able to run, dejected, thinking the season might be over. But he comes back so strong here over this last little bit to the halfway point. And I'll tell you, we talked about the emotions of Anthony Martella. You ain't seen nothing yet. Ariel Elkin, he wears the heart on his sleeve for sure. He's going to get out of this car and be absolutely over the moon. Trust me on that one. Look at that smile. He's coming out, folks. There he is. A winner here on the oval, Ariel Elkin. Fantastic run. Winner of the Freedom 90. Overcome with joy and the victory here. Huge for him to get himself back in the championship fight as well. Point leader Max Garcia coming home in 4th. The celebration, though, for the drivers and the teams from TJ Speed Motorsports, Tim Neff. It's been around many years in the IndyCar paddock, Indy Next paddock. A team owner now here, of course, in the USF Pro Championships presented by Continental Tire. That's what it means to these young drivers. Simon, you're a kid that wouldn't have been able to go USF Pro 2000 racing had you not won the USF 2000 championship. There are a lot of drivers right now in this program who need to win here if they're going to be able to move on.
And that next step on the ladder, Indy Next, everyone lining up to take a shot at it. Who's going to get that scholarship to move on? Well, Ariel Elkin making a strong case here in the middle of the season, coming from behind in the points after that St. Pete unfortunate weekend for him, but what a run over the past couple of races, and you can see all the emotions of what it means to win here at the Oval.
Yeah, he's going around the horn talking to everybody on the team. You saw Alessandro DiTullio come in there. Huge embrace, as we know, as well for Tim Neff and the team owner there. Ariel Elkin pumped about this one. Got to get yourself over the scales. Make sure you get weighed. But again, Elkin and DiTullio and Clark, the drivers who will be on the podium here. I love seeing this as well. I always talk about the fact that we have such great equality among our teams. 4 different teams in the top 4 here today. TJ Speed Motorsports with Ariel Elkin, Turn 3 Motorsport with Alessandro DiTullio, Exclusive Autosport with Matt Clark, and Pabst Racing with Max Garcia. 4 different teams, your top 4 positions. Simon, I appreciate you coming up and joining us. Any more racing for you in the next little while? What are we talking about?
Oh, you'll have to stay tuned. We'll see what's lining up. Can't disclose anything yet, but hopefully we'll be back in the seat soon. It's been a pleasure to join you here in the booth for these incredible couple of races we've had tonight.
All that work with kart chasers paying off. You're doing pretty good in here.
I definitely love being up here in the broadcast booth. Side gig of mine, doing a lot of these broadcast-type commentary for the karting world. Absolute blast to jump up and do it in this series, a series that I'm so familiar with, having raced in. And what a pleasure just to observe some incredible on-track action.
Simon, again, thank you very much. 2023 USF 2000 champion, winner last year in the USF Pro 2000 category as well. Simon Sykes joining me in the booth to cap off. Again, a great weekend here at Lucas Oil Indianapolis Raceway Park. We'll get our drivers over here so we can get things underway with the podium presentation. Still more racing to go, of course. The All-Star Midget event still to come. And what has been a fantastic Carb Night Classic so far. Weather tampered with us a little bit yesterday through our testing and qualifying, but we were able to get the job done and get things rolling in here today. A beautiful evening here. Again, what a huge Memorial Day weekend coming. Lots of racing, of course, as we know, throughout the Indianapolis area, all culminating in the 109th running of the Indianapolis 500 this coming Sunday. So many drivers who have worked their way through this USF Pro Championships, all part of that event at Indianapolis at the corner of 16th and Georgetown on Sunday. We talk about the fact that Pato Award some kid named Pato from Mexico won this race a number of years ago as well. So Louis Foster, of course, we know a victor here. Christian Rasmussen, a number of drivers have come through this particular racetrack and this particular race en route to the NTT IndyCar Series. Just trying to get the call sign from downstairs to see if we're ready to get things underway here. I think maybe we are. Let's get rolling here, ladies and gentlemen, and get it started here for the podium presentation, the celebrations for the Freedom 90 here in the USF Pro 2000 category. Finishing in third spot here today, folks from Canada for exclusive Autosport number 90, Mac Clark. Mac looking, of course, for the victory, starting on the pole, but a top three, still big points, working his way forward to the finale in Portland in August. Finishing in second, able to take advantage of the high line there during that restart. Number 44, Alessandro Di Tullio, finishing in second. Big win here, folks. We talked about this. 3 wins in the last 4 races. Your winner of the Freedom 90 for TJ Speed Motorsports, Ariel Elkin. Ariel Elkin scoring the win there for TJ Speed. Huge for him, piling up the points over the last number of races. And again, we have still a couple of weeks before we're back at it at Road America, America's National Park of Speed, as both USF 2000 and USF Pro 2000 will join the NTT IndyCar Series and Indy Next in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. There is your top 3 drivers here in Victory Lane here at Lucas Oil Indianapolis Raceway Park. VP Racing Fuels, partner as well, Continental Tires, Tatis Chassis, Elite Engines. All part of the spec program designed to develop these racers to head to Indy Next. And again, ultimately, as we always say, to the NTT IndyCar Series. Many drivers have moved on to sports car racing as well. Former winner here, Parker Thompson, now a factory Lexus driver in IMSA competition. We've seen a lot of drivers come through our program and maybe not make it to NTT IndyCar Series action, but full-time professionals, SRO, Porsche, IMSA. Champagne will come in and we'll cap off our component of this year's Carb Night Classic. Thrilled with the weather we had. Of course, we've had some rain over the last couple of years. Guys, grip it and rip it. Let's do some celebrating here. The champagne will fly. Ariel Elkin, his 3rd win in 4 races. Indiana, very, very good to this young driver for TJ Speed. Mac Clark coming home in 3rd, to Tullio in 2nd. These are 3 drivers destined for the NTT IndyCar Series. Folks, one more time, a round of applause for my top 3 drivers here in USF Pro 2000 and the winner of the Freedom 90, Ariel Elkin. Big thank you to everybody involved in the action here this weekend. Big thank you to USAC for the broadcast here. And again, on behalf of Anderson Promotions and Continental Tire, thank you so much, folks. My name is Rob Howden. Bye for now.